श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अपार करुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखर गुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्। परित्यज्य मौनं वटादस्थितिं च व्रजन् भारतस्य प्रदेशात् प्रदेशं मधुस्यन्ति वाचा जनान् धर्ममार्गेण यन् श्रीजयेन्द्रो गुरुर्भाति चित्ते नमामः शङ्करान् वाक्य विजयेन्द्र सरस्वतीं श्रीगुरुं शिष्टमार्गानुनेतारं सन्मतिप्रदं सद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। So in Bhagavad Gita, we are looking at the second chapter, which is the most important chapter. Because if we know the second chapter, it is the condensation of the entire Gita. It is like an introduction. So in second chapter, Bhagavan will discuss all or many of the paths that he is going to discuss later in the rest of the Gita. So first thing he is going to talk about is in Natvevaham Jatunasam Nattum Neme Janadhipaha Nachaiva na Bhavishyamaha Sarve Vayamatah Param Dehinaha Asmin Yatha Dehe Kaumaram Yavanam Jara Tatha Dehantara Praptihi Dhiraha Tatrana Muhyati. Here he says Jivatma can never be destroyed. We used to have something called as atomic theory. Atom can neither be created nor be destroyed. One atom can be converted into another atom. In fact, this should be called as the Jivatma theory. Jivatma can neither be created nor be destroyed. One Jivatma, the same Jivatma, goes through several bodies. Should be the Jivatma theory. Right. So that is what he says in these two shlokas. And then the next shloka, he starts to speak about something very, very important, which is the impermanency of our experiences, transient nature of our experiences. Matra sparshasta kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaha agamapayinaha anityaha tam titikshasva bharat. All of your experiences are going to be anityaha. All of the experiences are agamapayinaha. So what is your choice? Your choice, you may not be able to avoid them altogether, but you should start to live with them. So in the last class, I gave you two examples. You are going in a road, you are going to take a road trip. And in the road trip, you might feel lots of bumps. If you want to have a comfortable journey, you have two options, two possible options. One is before you go on to the journey, make sure that all the roads are perfect, which is an option, but it is not a feasible option. What is the feasible option? Feasible option is to hook up a shock absorber in your vehicle. In the same way, if you want to have a comfortable journey of life, we have two options. One, to keep on changing the other person, which is not in our hand. We cannot change our own spouse. We cannot change our own children. How can we change some random XYZ which we might encounter in our life? We cannot change it. So what would be the feasible option? The intelligent option is have a shock absorber of titiksha. Have a shock absorber of titiksha, that is patience in our life. Pray to Bhagavan. Again, Krishna here does not say how one can cultivate the quality of titiksha. We can cultivate the quality of titiksha by several ways. We can know the absolute truth, which is what Krishna is going to hint at in the next couple of shloka. Or we can say Sarvam Krishna Arpanam. You can do anything. There are many ways to cultivate titiksha. But that we have to cultivate titiksha does not have a replacement. And then he says, hey, do not take this lightly. Yamyenau yathayantyete purusham purusharishabha. Sama dukha sukam dhiram saha amritatvaya kalpate. That person who can cultivate this quality. Quality of what? Sarvatra samadarshanam. Sama dukha sukham. Yam na yathayanti. That person who does not sit in a corner and cry. That person who takes both sadness and happiness as same. That person is eligible for moksha. This is the entrance test. SATs. In US, the test is called as SAT. In India, you have myriad of tests. You have JEE. You have NEET. This admission season. So those who pass these exams, they are eligible to become doctor. In the same way, the NEET exam that Krishna gives is Yamhena Vyathayantyete Purusham Purusharishabha Samadhukka Sukam Dhiram. This is the NEET exam that Krishna gives, which will not have any problem of question paper leakage, etc. Now, he is going to say why or how can one develop this quality of titiksha. As I told you, there are several different ways. And the logic that is followed in Gita is always first to tell the most difficult thing and then make it easier. And then make it easier. And then make it easier. The last step would be the easiest step. Right? The first shloka of Gita, the Upadesham of Bhagavan, second chapter, shloka number 11. Ashocyan anvashocastvam prajnavadanscha bhashase gatasun agatasunscha nanushocanti pandita. Very, very easy to recite, but very, 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 very hard to grasp. And then, nasato Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. Very, 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 very hard to grasp. Then what Krishna will do? He will first tell the most difficult thing, most technical, most hard to understand. And then people will not understand. And then he'll come one down level. And then he'll go even one more level down. That is called as avatara. What is avatara? Avatara means a person who is above is going to come up. Sorry, come down. That is called as avatara. I climbing up is not avatara. He coming down is avatara, right? So when he comes down, the first thing will be so much high up. And then he is going to come a little bit closer to us. And then a little bit closer to us. And then a little bit closer to us. And then Tara level Keragidavar. The last shloka of Bhagavan's Upadesha is Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamevam Sharanam Braja. Aham tva sarva papebhyaha moksha. Okay, forget whatever I told you, do Sharanagati. This is the last shloka of Gita. Why Bhagavan takes this route? as against the normal route we all take. You want to go teach an LKG. You will not start with quantum mechanics. You will not start with integration or differentiation. And then, okay, I'm going to teach integration to a 5-year-old kid. He will not understand. And then I'm going to start teaching him graph theory. He will not understand. And then I will teach him quadratic equation. He will not understand. I will teach him addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. He will not understand. I'm going to teach him numbers. We don't do that to a 5-year-old. What do? We start with numbers. As the kid grows, he will also increase the complexity. Bhagavan Krishna could have easily done that. But he does not do that. He starts with the tough thing. Because the next shloka, nasate vidyate bhavaha, nasato vidyate bhavaha, nabhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drishtantaha tu anayaha tattvadarshibhihi is the most technical shloka. In Gita, Bhagavan Krishna will not go into technicalities often. But when he goes to technicalities, it will be very, very hard to understand. So this is one type of shloka. The meaning of the shloka is whatever exists, exists. Whatever does not exist, does not exist. The person who knows these two, whatever exists, exists. Whatever does not exist, does not exist. The person who knows these two is called as a Tattvadarshi. இது என்னத்தை புரியும்? யாருக்கு என்னது புரியும்? யாருக்கும் ஒன்றும் புரியாது. That's why you need help of Bhashyakaras like Adi Shankara. Adi Shankara writes 2-page commentary for the shloka. He goes lots of technical commentary for the shloka. That is how all of our ancient philosophies, they will always start with the hardest thing. And then they make it easier, 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 easier. You know why? Because Bhagavan and the philosophers, they know about us. If they start with the most easiest thing, what we will do? We will be very happy with that. And then we will not come for the next higher concept. Just like how we have lots of dropouts. Right? In 8th standard, there will be dropout. In 10th standard, there will be dropout. In grade 12, there will be dropout. In college first year, there will be dropout. In college third year, there will be dropout. And some people will stop with being undergrad. Some people will go do PhD. So if we think PhD is the highest thing, just to see how many people who have started their kindergarten finish up with their PhD. Very, 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 very meager percentage. Not even 1% will reach PhD. If we assume PhD is the pinnacle, which need not be, but just for the sake of argument, I'm telling. But the concept that they are teaching here in Bhagavad Gita, in Upanishads, in philosophy, they are not for just a degree. Right? For many people, the PhD degree is not worth the paper it is printed on. They will get a PhD degree for namesake. I will get a master's degree for namesake. I will be having masters in chemistry, but I will be working in IT industry. I will be doing a bachelor's in biotechnology. I will be working in insurance industry or banking industry. Right? But whatever that they teach in Gita or Upanishads or the philosophy, they are not for the sake of getting degree or for the sake of getting a certification. They are for getting moksha. So all the acharyas, they want to have maximum people getting moksha as possible. So they will start from the higher. Whoever people who can understand the most highest of philosophy, they will understand that and then they will leave. The person who cannot understand, because these people cannot understand the highest, they will stay for the second highest. And then people who have understood that, they will go. They will then mature. They will graduate to the highest level. So like that, you will keep on reducing things. in our so-called secular knowledge transmission system, the pedagogy is additive. You start with very simple concept and then you keep on adding things. But the pedagogy of Eastern philosophy, if you see the overall pedagogy, for every text, you take Viveka Chudamani, again, it is going to be additive only. But if you see the overall pedagogy, it is going to be tell the most hardest thing first, and then make it simple, and then make it simple, and then make it simple, and then make it simple. So this is how they can engage maximum number of people. So that is why people follow this type of method of teaching. Okay, here what Krishna says, Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha. Na asataha bhavaha vidyate. Tad asataha bhavaha na vidyate. Sataha abhavaha na vidyate. So here, there are three words. Sat and asat, bhava and abhava, and then there is vidyate. I am talking about the first line. So you have sat, asat, you have bhava and abhava, and then you have vidyate. So the meaning for vidyate is known. Right? Vid dhatu. It comes from the dhatu vid, to know. And only from that word, the word Veda came. Veda, Vid, Vitti, Tadeva Tvam Vitti, Nedam Yedidam Upasate. Now Upanishad mantra comes. So Vid, to know. Okay. So what is Asat, Sat? What is Bhavaha, Abhavaha? So we all know little bit Sanskritam to know that Sat is going to be opposite of Asat. Right? If you add A, it gives you an opposite meaning. Right? Sat is going to be opposite of Asat. Bhavaha is going to be opposite of Abhavaha. So that we know. So what is Sat? What is Bhavaha? If we understand, we can attempt to understand the shloka. Right? So Sat is a technical name. Sat is a technical term. What is a technical term? A term can have many meanings. But in that field of knowledge, a technical term will have a specialized meaning. I'll give you an example. Inflation. We have this term called as inflation. Inflation is a technical term. You go to a tire industry. What is inflation? How much air the tire can get. Right? You go to a puncture, a place who repairs puncture. How much the tire is inflated. What does that mean? How much air you can stuff into the tire. At the same time, you go to an economist. You talk to him about inflation. What is inflation to an economist? Price rise. Right. So the same word will have a very narrow meaning depending upon the field that you are talking about. That is called as a technical term. Right. So there are lots of technical terms. So Sat is one such technical term. The definition of Sat is that which does not change. The technical definition of Sat here is that which does not change. We can relate this to another word that we know, Satyam. What is Satyam? Tamilla Unmai abdingro. Englishly we call that as truth. What is truth? What is Unmai? What is Satyam? I narrate a story to you. I narrate something. That which does not change, how much ever time I narrate, is Satyam. Because if I lie, what will I do? Unknowingly, I will interject some other things. ஒருத்தர்ட்ட சொல்றப்போ ஒன்னு சொல்லுவேன், இன்னொருத்தர்ட்ட சொல்றப்போ இன்னொன்னு சொல்லுவேன், இன்னொருத்தர்ட்ட சொல்றப்போ இன்னொன்னு சொல்லுவேன். Right? That is called as falsehood. What is Satyam? யார்கிட்ட எப்போ எப்படி சொன்னாலும் ஒரே இதுதான் வரும். Example, sun rises in the east. This is called as universal truth. Right? We take sun rises in the east as universal truth. No matter what time of the day, no matter to whom I talk about, no matter yesterday, today, 1 year ago, 1 year from now, it is going to be truth. Sun rises in the east, right? That is called as Satyam. In the same way, Sadvastu is that which does not change itself. That which does not undergo any change is called as Sat. Then what is Asat? This is where we have to be very, very careful. People would translate Asat as false. Asat is not false. Asat does not mean that which does not exist. Asat means that does not have a permanent existence. That which does not have a permanent existence is called as Asat. Bhavaha, abhavaha. So Sat, Asat we told. What is Sat? That which does not change is called as Sat. Asat, that which changes is called as Asat. Then what is Bhavaha and Abhavaha? Bhavaha means existence. Abhavaha means non-existence. Bhavaha means existence. Abhavaha means non-existence. Okay, now let us see the shloka. Nasato vidyate bhavaha. Na abhavaha vidyate sataha. Na asataha vidyate bhavaha. For asad vastu, there is no existence. For asad vastu, nasato, you have to split as na asataha. For asad vastu, there is no existence. That na, you have to come and join it to bhavaha. So asataha bhavaha na vidyate. The na, you can join it with vidyate. For asad vastu, bhavaha existence, na vidyate is not known. Na abhavaha vidyate sataha. For sat vastu, abhavaha, non-existence, na vidyate is not known. Okay, can you give me an example? So let us take a pot and clay, for instance. Pot and clay. If we have a universe which is made up of only clay, okay, in our universe, we have many different things. But let us assume a universe which has nothing but just clay and different forms of clay. In that universe, clay is called as Satvastu. Because clay is going to be present everywhere. Right? Clay can be present as clay. Even in a pot, clay will be present. Right? You cannot take clay from the pot. Even in a water jug, clay will be present. Even in a house, remember, here we are assuming a universe where everything is made up of clay. Even in a house, clay will be present. And clay can neither be destroyed nor be created. Just like how we had atom theory, how we have Atma theory. In that universe, the clay theory will be clay can neither be created nor be destroyed. One form of clay can be converted into another form of clay, which means clay exists. Clay will always exist. So clay is called as Sat. And see, Sataha Nabhavo Vidyate Sataha. The second part. Abhavaha Sataha Na Vidyate. In the case of a clay universe, clay will never cease to exist. So clay is Sat. What about a pot? Pot can come and go. Pot can be created. Pot can be destroyed. Pot can be destroyed with the same clay. You can make a water jug. That water jug will be destroyed with the same clay. You can make a house. So pot, water jug, house, all these, they don't have a permanent existence. Clay has permanent existence. Clay on one hand has permanent existence. It is going to be present in all the three tenses. Past tense, present tense, future tense. In all the three kala, clay will be present. But what about pot? We cannot tell the same thing about pot. Pot, before it is made, pot will not be present, but clay is present. After the pot is being made, pot will also be present. Clay will also be present. If you have any doubt, try removing clay from a clay pot. You can never do that. And after the pot ceases to exist, there will be a mischievous clay Krishna who is going to put a clay stone at the clay pot in the clay universe. The clay pot will break, but clay will remain the same. The same clay can be used to make another pot. So, clay is a sadvastu. Pot is a asadvastu. Clay will always be existing. Pot, we cannot say that. Pot can exist. Pot can also cease to exist. So, nasato vidyate bhavaha. For clay, asadvastu, bhavaha na vidyate. How can you say pot does not exist? We have understood what is sadvastu, what is asadvastu. What is sadvastu? Sadvastu exists. Permanent existence. Asadvastu, it has only a temporary existence. It does not have a permanent existence. But what Krishna says here? Krishna says, Sadvastu has got existence. Asadvastu does not have existence, is what Krishna is saying. Now we have to understand that. Now we will think a little bit more. Is there any object called as clay apart from pot? Is there any object, any physical entity that is present in pot apart from clay, which we can call as pot? There is nothing. Right? There is not even an iota of pot in pot. Pot is filled only with clay. Apart from clay, there is no separate entity called as pot. Apart from gold, there is no separate entity called as earring. You know, when you take gold example, people will understand. I buy an earring for 5 grams. The 5 grams of earring will be gold. Not even 1 gram of a vastu called as earring will be present in that gold earring. If I buy an earring for 5 grams, all the 5 grams will be that of gold. So gold is sadvastu. Earring is asadvastu. Why? Because gold exists all throughout. That gold can be made as earring. Earring can be melted and then it can be made as a bangle. That can be melted. It can be made as a ring. But gold will exist. The bangle, earring, finger ring, they are not sadvastu, they are asadvastu. Now my question is, in a 5 gram gold earring, is there a separate entity called as earring present? A separate entity called as earring will never be present. 5 grams of gold earring, it will only have 5 grams. So where does the earring exist? Earring is only a namesake. What is earring? Earring is just a namesake. There is no separate physical entity called as earring. There is no separate physical entity called as a bangle. There is no separate physical entity called as a netichudi. There is no separate entity, physical entity called as an uddiyanam. There is no separate physical entity called as a chain. All these things, earring, a bangle, a netichudi, uddiyanam, chain, they all have an existence only in namesake. பேருக்கு லுலாய்க்கு அப்படிம்பா. லுலாய்க்கு பேருக்குன்னா என்ன? It exists in paper. It exists as a name. It does not have real existence. All these things does not have real existence. That's what Krishna says. Na asataha vidyate bhavaha. Asataha bhavaha na vidyate. If an entity is an asadvastu, it does not have a real existence. It only have a namesake existence. On the other hand, what has real existence? Na abhavaha vidyate sataha. Sataha abhavaha na vidyate. For sadvastu, abhavaha, non-existence is never possible. Bhayorapi drishtontaha tu anayaha sattvadarshamihi. That person who knows the reality of these things, that person who knows the reality of these two things. What two things? Sat and asad vastu. Sat, real existence, and asad vastu, which has only namesake existence. That person which has got the idea, which know about these two entities, that person is called as Tattvadarshin. Tattvadarshin. He is called as a Tattvadarishi. What is Tattvadarishi? Tat means Brahman. In Sanskritam, Tat, if I don't know anything, right? If I don't know any Visheshana, just this word Tat is present. It means Brahman. Tattvamasi. Right? Tattvam, Ghatatvam, Patatvam. The being that is called as Tattvam. He sees Brahman in everything. Why? Because Brahman is the only Satvastu. Why? Because Brahman is the material cause of the universe. In the case of clay and pot, clay is the material cause. Clay is Sat. Pot is the effect. All parts are Asat. In the case of gold and ornaments, gold is the material cause, Sat, which can never be created nor be destroyed. Ornaments can be created and destroyed. In the same way, Vedas say that for this universe, Brahman is the material cause. Brahman can neither be created nor be destroyed. One form in the Brahman can be converted into another form in the Brahman. We have to derive the Brahman theory now. We started with the Jivatma theory. Right? Krishna started with the Jivatma theory. What did he say? Jivatma can neither be created nor be destroyed. Jivatma from one body can go to Jivatma from another body. We started with that. And then we went to atomic theory. Atom can neither be created nor be destroyed. One atom can be converted into another atom. Now we are ending up with Brahman theory. Brahman can neither be created, Brahman can nor be destroyed. Forms in the Brahman can go from one form to another form. Forms in Brahman can go from one form to another form. But Brahman can neither be created nor be destroyed. Brahman stays. And later Krishna is going to say, hey Arjuna, you are that Brahman. We initially said the Jivatma. We initially said the Brahman. And then Krishna is going to combine a grand unified theory. Science is going towards a grand unified theory of quantum mechanics and gravity. The same way, Shastra has already told you a grand unified theory of Brahman and Jivatma. It is like this. All these laws that I have told you, it's called as law of conservation. Previously, people used to have law of conservation of matter, law of conservation of atom, law of conservation of energy. What is law of conservation of atom? Atoms can neither be created nor be destroyed. One form of atom can be converted into another form of atom. And then people came up with law of conservation of energy. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. One form of energy can be converted into another form of energy. And then what somebody came and did? They combined matter and energy. Matter energy can neither be created. Matter energy cannot be destroyed. Matter can be converted into energy. Energy can be converted into matter. They unified matter and energy. The same way, we started with Jivatma. Now we are ending with Paramatma. Later, Krishna is going to combine, hey, because these have same properties, Jivatma is equal to Paramatma. Krishna is going to say later, which we will see in the later class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Harihi Om. This shloka is very, very technical. I have not even entered the technicality that is being presented in Shankara Bhashya. Because if I tell that, nobody will come to next class. So you will see all the technical aspects later. Maybe later in Bhagavad Gita, or maybe later in some other Upanishad Bhashyam class if we are blessed to do so. So for this shloka, I'm just translating, I'm just putting things into some perspective which we can understand. So you cannot go and find all these things in the Gita Bhashya. So in Gita Bhashyam, Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he goes even more technical. If we want to understand those technicalities, we have to have lots of prerequisites, which we don't have. So for this shloka, we are not following Shankara Bhashyam very closely. I'm just telling that as a disclaimer.